republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have meeting notes from the October 21st meeting. I wasn't here. Scott,
To approve.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Abstain. Who's talking about the tax, setting the tax rate, Jeff?
Yeah, we have the warrant to collect taxes before the select board. The tax rate has been set by the state. It's the total tax rate is $31.36. The town is $8.80, up from $8.20 last year. So a 60-cent increase, and that's about a 7.3% increase, which is a little below what we had anticipated. And the state and county make up the rest. So when we sign the warrant to collect taxes, it will then be uploaded tomorrow to the system, and next week the tax bills will go out and they will be due around December 11th.
Motion to accept.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
All sitting over here, who wants different perspective of the meeting? I can see all that.
Sure. Two fingers up. Now it's not fun.
Thanks.
School enrollment verification process.
Basically, every year the school sends a list of students that are from Canaan to the town for verification.
Twice a year.
Yeah, twice a year. But we just got it just recently, and we've been having conversations because one of the things that we've discovered when Rebel is requested to do this is she can only verify about 40% of the things because you don't know, all we know is that the people who have owned properties in town.
Mhm.
Doesn't include renters and for any child that may have a different last name. So that's been very difficult. So we were looking at what processes and how we can better verify the students in school. And Brian has taken it upon himself to go ask some questions, both at the state level and looking at what is the process that the school is using? And the question becomes, how can we access it to verify those types of things? So Brian can speak to that.
I've got a lot of detail, which I don't need to go into. But basically the South 62, which is our district, supplied to the town twice annually. So October's information is due back from the town on the 14th because they report to the DOE on the 15th.
Good.
Typically you get the idea. The goal is that they give the town 2 weeks. I know this year that wasn't 2 weeks. It was like 10 days, and it might have been calendar days. The DOE, so the Department of Education and the New Hampshire Department of Revenue do not independently verify any enrollment. They simply take the number that the SAL supplies them, Department of Education, and they pass it to the DRA. So it's considered to be verified by the town at that point.
As of the 15th, after we've sent it back to them. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And this information is coming from the Miss Isabel,
Superintendent.
superintendent. Martha, I don't remember, doesn't matter, but one of her deputies actually does the grunt work, and the letter you get is from her.
So we get a list of all the students by school.
By school.
Okay.
And so what I asked them is, how do you do the enrollment? So there's a thing that if you go out to the website and they use a thing called, if you're involved with school, I guess everybody knows Alma.
Alma.
Okay. So there's a website, mascomaschools.almastart.com. You get an account there. Once you have an account, then the next year you go to the school and do it directly through the school. Okay, that's how they get their data. But the basic load is how do they determine whether you're a Canaan student or not? It's the same way we determine, or very similar to the same way we determine your license plates. So you have to have a driver's license. You have to have 2 forms of saying that you live at X location. But they're the ones getting that information. We're not getting the information. They're simply sending you a list. So to make the short version of this, it appears that
So the town verification is pretty much useless to people.
the town doesn't really have the labor or designated individual to run there's around 400 names, rough speaking. And it does include preschool.
Mhm.
So I'm not casting any aspersions that we're getting erroneous information, but the trust and the verified part of the trust isn't there
Okay.
from the town. So there's multiple ways perhaps you could address this, but one of the things that occurs to me is that with all the committees that we have, perhaps there's a committee that could, in association with the assessor who can do the actual deed work and know that that information is correct. Don't know the rental work,
Rental work or different names.
different
Yeah.
names. And we don't get all, I don't believe we get all of the information.
All we
from-
get is the students' names, right?
Right.
Probably protected.
It is protected, I'm sure.
So do we know how much that number fluctuates from year to year?
It's been staying pretty steady around 400, it appears, over the last few years.
Mhm.
So, but if we're only off by 4, again, we know that we can all understand that the approximate cost per student is about 25 grand. That, and a special needs
As
is
the numbers
large.
start growing, it's in the budget keeps growing, get bigger, the number gets bigger, so. per
And,
student.
and the numbers have been pretty static. There's about 1,000 students in the district altogether. And we have 400 is what the number comes down to.
And one thing that Brian had brought to my attention, when you look at the RSA, the school, the process that they've adopted, they're supposed to have a copy of their deed and or lease and a copy of a picture driver license.
Mhm.
We don't have access to that. So the whole verification process seems
It's,
odd because we don't have access to the actual.
We have no way to verify.
No,
Right.
and that's really what we're trying to figure out is how, if we're going to do a verification, we should be able to do a verification. We don't know how to move forward with that. So the question is, do we, make a formal request or have a meeting with the superintendent and just have a conversation, like, how do we do this?
yeah,
And we just wanted to bring it to the town's attention that this is how it's done. And don't assume that there's any issue, but we just don't have any way, like, we're turning in a verification. Because
based on,
Rebel has
based
done
on their
the-
numbers.
she's done the deeds, she does do the deed research, and that's where she gets that 40 or 45%, but we don't know.
Yeah.
With the rest, we're like, okay, how do we do this? And, the response is kind of, well, that's kind of how we've always done.
She ran the numbers last year and I checked with her. So 50% was the number from 2024 that she could not,
Come up with a verification.
which is significant.
Yeah.
200 times 25,000.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that, all we want to do is make sure we're verifying something real, and that's, is it it's probably initially a question with the superintendent, then it's a question of things that Brian's bringing up of somebody being on the
Superintendent of the school board. I mean,
School board, and we have to start-
Represent-
Guys, so that you could have her deliberation and consideration on how you might want to go forward. So
Yeah.
this month is a wash, but the second time of the year is May. And the idea that they told me was that if someone, if they get told, Brian calls them up and says, I don't think Sally is really a student. They take that to heart supposedly and check to make sure that Sally's a student in the right town.
And then how does that, the
And then,
homeless population that are going to school, I mean, how are they accounted for? I mean, do they have legal addresses or, I don't know, so I'm just.
that's what they're supposed to have, and that's what we
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
And we don't have access, so.
from talking with her, it sounds like she's, her she and her staff are obligated, if they hear about an error, that they address it right away and try to take the proper action to make sure that that student is represented from a proper town. And I think the May adjustment is the idea that, okay, twice a year, we're going through this process to make sure it's squared away.
Yeah, I mean, I have no reason to think they're
No,
fudging numbers. I just,
Well, when they ask us to sign a verification, that's where the concern.
yeah, I get that. Yeah, I don't understand. So,
it's on the town, it's not on them.
yeah. Yeah,
And
they're
that's
gonna get their money from the state, whatever, or from the towns anyway, so, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Should talk to them on town.
Doesn't matter whether that's 1,000, if the 1,000's the number from the district, is 400 the right number you gain? That's what I was trying to figure out, like, how do you know it is?
And then we have three of the four schools too, so.
Well, that's another issue.
Three of the actually four of the 5 properties.
Yeah.
The SAU office should be sold, but that's my own opinion. So. And the property that's there, so. All right. Thanks.
Yeah, like
Brian.
I said, I have more to tell, but
Yeah,
you got the idea.
yeah, no, I talked to Rebel as well, so appreciate it.
Okay.
Building permit fees.
Ted has suggested that we do some building permit fees. He's out of town right now, so we were gonna punt this till next meeting,
Okay,
if that's okay.
like
So when we can have him.
look at increases
Yes,
based on other towns.
based on other towns, and it's just, we're charging about half
Yeah.
of what most towns are charging, so we just have to, you know, look at what options we have.
So we were gonna be working on our fee schedule across the board, though.
Yes.
We're gonna look at a bunch of other.
Yep.
So is that all gonna be incorporated into one, or is it?
Well, we can try to have the
I mean,
right.
I don't mind doing it piecemeal, but
Yeah, we'll see what we can get.
we changed
together.
the town office fee schedules on copies and all that.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bob.
So the building permit fees, we're looking to raise them mainly why?
To
Good, because the other towns are charging more is not a good answer. I'm just saying for the people that came.
No, we're just, I mean, there's a lot that goes into being, you know, the building fees really should be, in my opinion, should be covering the cost of the building inspector.
Yep.
And that we're not even close.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
I just want to make sure it wasn't just about, well,
No,
the other towns are charging more, so we get to charge.
and there's a
more.
lot that goes into it to make sure we're getting up to code and we're doing the right thing. And
That's fair.
you know, it's
I just-
kind of the Wild West in Canaan for a lot
I
of
want to make
years.
sure there's something more to it than that. That's all.
yeah, no, I think we were, and Carrie Ann can correct me if I'm wrong, I think we've been only taking in about 10 grand and our cost is between 25 and 30.
Okay, that makes sense.
You know what I mean? So it's just, trying to make those more balanced.
And we've come a long way of, letting stuff not slide through the cracks too. Cause there was a lot of that happening too.
Yeah.
before, So. Okay, I'm all right with that. So. Town office repairs, I wasn't here last, what?
Water abatement requests. We did receive 4 requests for abatement for water for billing issues.
Yep.
This came while I was unavailable and have not had a chance to have John review them. He's in the process of putting in new heads. We're going to be making sure all these numbers, and like, I can give you an example, one that was Arnold Koch or Koch. He would like the water sewer operator to do a full year rating, this to compare it to, because 2 quarters were one level and the next one was way up, so, you know, we know there's a few issues.
Yeah.
They're primarily with.
I'm on his coach.
Oh, how you doing?
He came in the other day
Okay,
and did a reading. And I just got a message from him. I saw him at the hardware store this afternoon. And he said there was something wrong and you're gonna get a full reading. So I don't know what's going on with John. I mean,
well, the goal is when we put these new heads in,
yeah,
we're starting at zeros. We're gonna probably have to adjust for some people to say, we know this is out of whack.
yeah, well, I
And
got
make
my
some
meter
adjustments.
the bill I got for the first quarter.
Yeah.
The meter reading was at the end of June.
Right. Well,
They have like 10,000 gallons. I mean, almost, it was 9,000 some odd gallons that I used in that first quarter. But I normally only use like 45 to 4,800 gallons. And then when I got my the reading from my bill for the second quarter, it shows that I only used 1,490 gallons. So there's like 3,000 gallons missing out of there. So that my bill for the first quarter was wrong. It was for 2 quarters instead of,
Okay, well, these are the things we're trying to clean up because when, hopefully before January first, we'll have all the new heads in, we will have everybody starting at zero and we will have cleaned up these readings, and that's what we're trying to do right now. So we wouldn't be able to do the abatement tonight. I want to get a
No,
response so we can
I-
actually pick that.
I would just want, I have a question on what do I put the abatement in for, that first bill,
Yes,
the first quarter, whether
But I wanna-
it's like double.
but I'd like to go through this with John and get what we think the estimated amount is, because then you can have an exact amount you're asking for the abatement.
Okay, well, let's see if we can get it off the meter then.
Okay. So we will
So
bring this
there's
back.
more than have come forward, or?
That, yeah, so far, there's 4 in here.
And then we have another, we were supposed to have another bill come out.
It's supposed to be coming out shortly, like in the next couple of weeks.
And
But the good thing is when he's putting the new heads on, we're actually closing out the old meters and we're trying to get them zeroed out. So he's gonna take a final reading and we start new.
Okay.
And then we gotta work that in.
Third quarter that's coming out or second?
Third, I believe.
Yeah, the next one will be third quarter.
And then,
I know you've been out. Do we have any update on the abatement request for the late fees when someone had a return check? We had tabled that. We're gonna find out what best practices were if we were negligent and not reaching out. Do we know? Or can we can put it, make sure we put it on for next.
Yeah, I remember, and I did look it all up and my mind is not
That's okay.
pulling it all up right now. We did go through that the next day.
Okay.
And we did look at that $25
I just
fee.
think we should,
Yeah, and I believe we were gonna return it, that's what's in my head, but I had to go back to the
it
reading.
was a more substantial fee, so it was like $10,000 tax bill that the check was returned for insufficient funds.
Oh,
So it wasn't
that-
entered back into Avashar. So we had initially said, we'll abate the fees, but then we thought, well, is that what we should really do? What's our responsibility in reaching out to?
Reality is the town is not responsible other than to say they owe us an extra $25 for reaching out for the return check. And we waited 60 days or more before we did that. But I was thinking of the other one, but this one, I didn't see that we should be returning that fee because it was basically the taxpayers are having to carry this. You know, we have a tax anticipation note out because we haven't collected, we have $960,000 uncollected, I think, right now in taxes. And last year it was $650. So that's also one of the reasons we're running really thin on cash. And it's like, well, the rest of the taxpayers are picking up the burden. I think you have to contribute when you're not paying your bill. That's why we charge interest.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's that kind of, I don't see that one as one that we're responsible for. Based on what we talked about, we talked to banks and things like
I
that.
think that's what we thought too, but then I thought we were going to reach out to.
Yeah, we
what our
looked,
best practice was, but I just wanna make sure that we actually get back to that person.
Yeah.
So if Monica's nodding that she's got it on the agenda already for next meeting.
okay,
So that's good.
that'd be good. We'll give you the. We did look at it the next day and I just don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had more than just one of those, and that's what we tabled it so that it could be looked at to find out if we had a deficiency in not notifying them, or if there was something else.
The other one that was our responsibility was a return check for, I want to say $3,500 or something like that. It was in that neighborhood. And the person had used a checking account, which they said they've done before in making payments, and they did an online payment. Well, the way the old system used to work is the clerk actually had to print a check to deposit it, where the new one doesn't do that. And when it had to print the check, it was done a couple of days after they had presented to the bank, plus it was the wrong kind of account. So that was really a software issue, and we're gonna return that $25.
Okay. I just think we're getting close to the end of the year.
Right. Yeah, we got a bunch of things we have to wrap up right now.
Okay, thank
So,
you.
The one, I believe it was something we should be responsible, because if we had turned it around quicker, it would have worked. And if the other one, I don't remember that one being the one, but we'll
Okay.
confirm that next meeting.
Thank you.
So we can use on those, then we'll have an answer of what we're gonna do, or
Yes.
suggestion, okay?
Yeah.
More information.
Town office repairs. There was a proposal at the last meeting for fixing the bathroom where we have floor deteriorating and some water damage, in the bathroom, in addition to the air conditioner. What I have authorized was to remove the air conditioner and seal the outside of the building so we could see if there's any additional damage we have to do, and we can do that for a couple $100. So we're gonna just take it out, seal the outside of the building so there's no more moisture getting in, and we're gonna have to then identify any more damage. And then the same thing in the bathrooms. We might have to pull a.
So is that mini splits, or is it?
No, this was an old through window air conditioner. It was through the block wall. And they basically just put trim around it and covered it. And the outside is still open to the outside. The old air conditioner sticking through the wall is still, can take water.
So they're getting a musty smell and everything.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, and Carrie Ann has in in her request for the purchase order, 2 new file cabinets, because a couple of file cabinets had mold in them. One doesn't work, had to use a hammer to open it, things like that.
Oh, it's secure.
It's very secure. But we have 2 cabinets we have to replace, with that. So, but the concern is what has happened in the wall. We want to identify that. I am concerned also in the bathroom because most of the VCT has peeled, at least in the one area. And I can tell that the subfloor has been wet. And I don't know what extent that is. So we're gonna have to pull a couple tiles, and the side of the vanity is completely shot. So I just don't know what the water damage is. I don't care about, we can still use what's there, but it's like, what are we growing?
Okay, I thought that that was an issue that had been there a while and hadn't deteriorated any further. In the
That's what I
bathroom.
remember too.
As far as, I'm not 100% sure, but right now I don't know to what extent damage took place. We're gonna do some exploratory. I think that's the next.
Years old or something, so that Scott and I had said, like, let's do the hole and fix the wall
Right.
and see how much that is.
It's just like, where they have the LVP in my office, and it's like, it's all coming apart. You know what I mean? Like, there's just a bunch of things. There's one thing that doesn't exist in that building that you typically want when you have concrete floors. There's no vapor barriers. So you're just getting garbage everywhere, and there's been a couple of holes patched, and I don't know what we covered.
Yeah, so when Carrie Ann had the proposal at the last meeting, I thought that was a great use case to bring to you, the budget committee.
Well,
It's
that's-
sort of a maintenance person, because if we had more preventative maintenance, things like this wouldn't happen, but I know the budget committee, it's a big ask, and they were.
Well, we have a new proposal. Carrie Ann's been
Yeah.
working on that. We've been working on it with Sal, and we will be bringing that to the budget committee on Thursday.
Okay.
For the repairs? Or
No, for the person. Because that's something that existed way back. So. Go right into my stuff. We have the bond anticipation note here before you that we need to have authorization there's one section that has the motion. On the resolution to authorize $2.7 million loan to finance road construction, that's a 2-page document. There's a motion at the top of that needs to be read into the record. So that we can then authorize the clerk and the treasurer to sign, and then on the actual loan documents, which is the bigger stack, there's a place where you would have to sign the 3 places. And this is the $2.7 million to get us a bond anticipation note rather than taking the bond out right away, because the one thing we don't know is how much the final project cost will be, and we don't want to take out more than we need, so we're planning to take this bond anticipation note out, and in May, apply for the permanent bond, which would be then funded in July, but we need to have the funds available to get us to that point.
Got it. So where do you want, what do we need to read into the record?
The motion at the top of the resolution to authorize.
I only have one. I move that the resolution entitled Resolution to Authorize 2.7 million loan to finance road reconstruction be approved in the form presented to this meeting, and that an attested copy of said resolution be included with the minutes of this meeting. Read the whole thing.
Yeah.
2 pages worth?
No, just the motion at the top.
No,
Motion. I didn't know.
You're gonna break it up.
I wasn't reading with you. I didn't know where you were.
And Deb does not need to be here to, as
No, they said that Deb and Ann are gonna sign both tomorrow. So I think the only document you're required to sign is the loan documents. They have the 3 signature lines in there. Which
Page
is,
4.
Should we vote on
Do we need to vote on that motion?
You already-
well, no, you just did the motion to approve this, so now you just have to, now you have to just sign that document. Everything else is signed by the treasurer and the clerk.
We just do a motion to approve, we don't even second and vote?
Well, you gotta vote, yeah.
Oh,
That's the motion. You gotta still have a vote.
okay, we have.
That's what I just
not done the
asked.
part yet,
Yeah.
yeah. I'll second the motion.
all in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
Good thing they don't have to have the video when they take.
Oh, dear.
That will allow us to pay for the rest of the paving on the project and the engineer's fees to date. And then we will be going to bid over the winter. But the rest, that hopefully have all the contracts in place in the spring when we apply for the final bond.
Do I need to sign that?
No, that's step 10. Then. I also have a. New contract. Proposal from. For EMS, this is our. The billing software, when we changed billing software companies, the collections people were part of that previous group.
Yep.
And we have the new one as part of our new billing. And I gotta find it. Where we just have to authorize signing a contract to do collections with the 25% and 30%.
Fees.
Now what I do with it. Is it in? It would be in those. That's it.
You may.
Yeah, man. I didn't even have it. I'm looking. So that's the contract, and you can either authorize, you could have the select board chair sign or myself, whichever works for you, Vince.
We've already approved the change.
We've already gone to the other building company. This is just to go to the collections piece of it.
You want a motion?
Yeah, we have to have a motion. Anytime
A
we sign
move
it.
to, make changes over to the new collection.
Thank you. Second,
I'll second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Permission for the select chair to
Yeah.
sign.
It's the word given.
Must be the moon.
Full moon,
The full moon.
super moon.
Wicked super.
Wicked.
Affecting more than the tides, I see.
I have not caught up to the time zone yet. I had daylight savings happen twice this morning. I've gained two hours this month.
See how lucky you are?
I know.
Or that sleep you caught up on.
That's a two-time loser. Oh, say it.
Next is the sulfids. We had one a couple of weeks ago. We talked about it with Morton Salt at $109. I talked to, not Morton Salt, with Cargill.
There you go.
I had spoken with Barrett, Tim Barrett, related to why the prices are going up so much. And he said last year, everybody ran so short, there'd been a little bit of a panic and they're trying to make sure they have the right quantities and the right prices. And it's kind of across the board. We have gotten 3 prices, one from Morton Salt and one I can't remember the name of. I didn't bring it with me. It's a small company out of near Portsmouth. And one was that one was $89 a ton and Morton Salt is 104. But they are both sea salt, which it's a much wetter product. You're actually paying for water content and weight, so you actually don't get more salt. And the only one that's actually rock salt, because the other pieces, when it comes out, when it's wet like it is, it clears the road quickly, but disappears faster where rock salt works. And so I'm still recommending, and I had talked to Scott with this, and we've talked to Bob, the Cargill product that's actually a rock salt is the best for the roads and it's about I want to say it's about a $14,000 difference and it's only a couple thousand more than going with Morton and we're actually going to get more salt from it.
Well, we use Cargill in the past, right?
We've used them
Yeah.
year in and year out. So I mean, this is just who we've used, but the request was to
Right.
check
No,
on their
I
prices.
no, I remember that. I just-
Yeah. So that's my recommendation, so we can sign that.
Do
Because the other company, I gave them numbers on.
Is that just a PO?
No, I actually have a salt contract I have to sign.
Yep.
So I just need
I'll
authorization.
make a motion to.
Unless you want to sign it.
That,
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, good.
Two other just, very joyous pieces of news. Goose Pond is gotta be lowered again. They were checking out the locks and
The gate.
one of the gates, the seal had come out of one of and it's leaking badly when they close it. So they're having to lower Goose Pond again. And they're also gonna do it with divers. It doesn't have to be lowered as far as it was before, but they are gonna have to lower Goose Pond. They did a design. And we just got notification actually today from DOT, that's. Or from
From DOT.
it wasn't DOT, it was, what's his name? Corey.
Yeah.
With DES, so that is in process. And then the other piece of news that you may or may not have already heard,
So do they have a timetable on that, of when they're gonna do that, or did they?
they're starting like now,
Well, to lower it, but
to lower
they have an
it.
idea when they can close it again.
Doesn't say.
That's right, depends on. That we got 4 days.
There's a chart. There's a chart, there's an email, we got an email. You got one.
Not doubting I do, but I might.
Yeah.
When did they come in?
Today.
1207 from
I
Corey.
got it. like,
But there's a
an hour
chart that
before.
says like, hey, if we can fix it by X date, this is when we think it will be this percentage fill. So it doesn't really give a date of when they anticipate it'll be completed. It sounds like they already fixed it once.
As of this morning, 11, the gates at Goose Pond Dam have been opened to lower the water level. And they're monitoring the downstream reach to ensure downstream property damage does not occur. Moving forward, it'll take about 2 weeks for the water level to decrease to the base of the dam, at which point the contractor will install a temporary coffer dam to seal off needed repair. So they're doing that in 2 weeks, and then it's just a matter of when they close it all up. So it's gonna happen pretty quickly.
Yeah, but, okay,
But
I know, it's under their control.
that's what we get. And the other piece of news we got was the state DOT sent us a critical bridge deficiency notice on the Potato Road Bridge. Basically, most of the superstructure is become very deteriorated and they consider it unsafe. And we were required to close the bridge immediately And I saw the email because it came late in the day on Friday and Monday. As soon as we got it, we talked to the highway department. We closed the bridge to ensure that there is no risk to school buses and any other resident in the area. So we wanted to make sure we're following their things, and we are now in the process of looking into whether we need or what it would take to, if we had to go to a temporary bridge. We are still 2 years away from completion of the new Potato Road Bridge project. So we have to look at what are our options. We have a temporary bridge already on Grist Mill Bridge. And we are now going to be looking here as well, and we will be reporting back as soon as we have more additional information.
Okay. Do you have any input from the fire department on concerns with it being closed for a long time?
It'll be a longer ride out there, that's all. I mean,
Any,
ambulances, we can get across Grist Mill. Fire trucks, we can get across them, but it's kind of tight.
yeah,
I mean, London put the ladder truck across, it didn't have any problems, so.
you London did?
When I went to Grafton last spring, so.
Okay.
We've kind of put a plan in place basically to run up over ballpark and everything out that way, or down, depending on where it is on Potato.
Okay.
On the other end,
All
so.
right. Thanks.
Along that line, I'd like to point out that the alert process from the town website let me know right away when that thing closed. It was great. I think the alerts are working really well.
Yeah, I
It's
saw
off the new website. People have
If
to
you're
sign up.
signed up for.
People have to sign up for them.
I need to do that.
Well, you got the email about them.
The other
I
thing
got the
is-
email about them, so.
Just counting on inside information, I see how.
The other thing that's working well is the agendas and the meeting minutes. Works the same way. Really functional, very good. So ideally, if the person who's in the committee posts the stuff right there and you are signed up for it, you don't have to get the individual mail from multiple times, blah, blah, blah. So the system's working nicely. Congratulate you guys for picking it.
Well, you too, you had input into it as well.
No, it's working though. You always wonder whether that will really do the job or not. And Monica and Monica's big team is doing a good job. Very well.
And then just so you guys know, I'm hoping that we have everything complete for that signed package for the detours up by Friday morning. Our sign guy's supposed to put a rush on it, so we can pick it up Thursday afternoon possibly.
Okay, I mean, I know you got February signs out there
I
now.
was able to steal some of the stuff from the grist mill one too. We're gonna start setting posts and stuff tomorrow, so the signs come there, just both them.
Okay, Thank
Be
you.
very similar to the grist mill signs, so the state should be all good with it.
okay. Great. We'll look into some options maybe.
Yep, and in your packet in the orange folder is just some, like, you have a timber tax in there, a couple of purchase orders and
Okay.
a couple of manifests.
All right,
And one last signature for it's one of which policy was it? Cash management. There was one,
policy, yeah.
so that's the last I have for tonight.
Any other business? Go ahead,
Yes,
Oh.
I'm trying to,
state your name.
Art Conti.
Hi, Gary.
I'm trying to apply for an excavating permit so I can hook up my water on School Street.
Okay,
That I was here last time to get approval to run the water.
Yeah.
Which I had to go to the planning board about that.
So this is a road, he just needs permission to cross the town road. The
Yep.
town will be observing it. They do the installation of the whole service. And we want to do it on Tuesday because the school is closed.
okay. All right, and that schedule works for you doing?
Yes, and I would also like to close the road down,
Yeah, it's
you know,
one way.
while we
so-
do that, you know, they can come in the other way, you know, come.
Yeah,
I think there's what, about 3 houses?
what's that?
There's about 3 houses, I think.
Yeah, there's a few
Maybe
more than
more.
that, but the ones at the end.
For the water, it's got to be dug 3/4 way across, so the road's gonna have to be closed to do the water connection.
Right, so you're gonna have to come in for the other end. We'll have to do some signage. Any ideas on that, you, since you're here?
That's all on the contractor.
I'm just saying, as far as detour signs, I mean, if we have some available, can we just?
No, 'cause I mean-
At least we need to notify the residents that, you know, we're gonna close the road, so. So,
because we'll do another email blast.
An email blast, but we probably should get something like knock on the doors of the people that live on that road.
Yeah, because we'll have to cover the one-way signs during the day.
Right.
The do not enter sign.
I mean, they'll figure it out, but I just need to, there's more than just 3 houses on that road, so.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know how
Yeah.
many there is. It's not very many.
and we'll have to notify the school too, even though there's no school, it doesn't mean there won't be staff there,
Staff.
so. Can you get all that done by,
The 11th.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, we'll just,
We,
we'll go knock on the doors tomorrow.
right? You want to have something more official coming from the town as far as knocking on doors or just? or
Not doing anything
walking
official,
down?
I just notify, you know, they will do it and Bob's on it and we're gonna have people there. So we will make sure and John will be there, Bob will take care of the road part and Hugh.
I would feel better if there was a town employee actually. maybe
They're supposed to be there.
Okay.
Bob said there will be town employees
I
there.
meant going and knocking on doors.
It's notifications.
Yeah,
And
okay.
notifications, so.
All right.
Somehow.
Yep.
Let's at least have a little bit of notification, I mean, and in that as well.
Yep.
I don't need somebody pulling a gun on Mr. Conkey and get off my property, so. Maybe Ted could do that
What are the odds of that happening again?
again.
No,
That it?
just,
Yes, that's
Okay.
it.
Great, go ahead.
I am just here to kind of update you guys on the fall Community Power Coalition member meeting that happened in late October. Write your agendas if you want them. They have 2 meetings a year. One is in the spring
Mhm.
and one is in the fall.
Thank you.
It really wasn't, it's not too much to report. They basically did some updating on their website. They used to maintain 2 websites. Now they're down to 1. And, they have done a lot of work kind of making it more user friendly for ratepayers and it looks pretty good. They moved their headquarters to Concord. And basically the only other kind of really important thing is they've made progress. I know we were here in the spring and they, kind of just brought, utility, all the across the board utility issues with the bad winter and they have definitely made progress on recouping, their reserve targets. And while they're not totally out of the woods yet, they're kind of anticipating that they should be able to meet their minimum target by July. So that's, moving in the right direction. And they presented some of, they have lots of towns who are using, have put an adder on their rates where they're getting town specific discretionary reserves.
Mhm.
And they presented a couple towns, what their plans are for using them, Peterborough and Nashua. And it was really, really interesting. I think it really would be very good for Canaan. One of the plans was Nashua's, and it was, kind of inspiring because I can think long-term how it would specifically help Canaan. And I'm gonna post that presentation on the Electric Aggregation Committee's website. Monica's gonna help me post another one. And that's about it.
Okay.
So the only other thing is that that when Andrew Hatch was here in August and gave the presentation on the cost sharing agreement and member service agreement, that they were hoping to have it signed by late October. And I'm wondering if we can get on the agenda for next meeting or get that signed. You're gonna have one. Here's some decision making embedded in that agreement in terms of you have to
Sign
designate.
somebody.
Yeah, so if you want, I'm happy to meet with you before that, if
Okay.
you want to go over that.
Yeah.
So that it's
Yep,
kind of
that
a
would be
slam
great.
dunk for you guys. And that's it.
And when's the next round of price comparison and whether we're gonna go into it or not? Roll.
Liberty is scheduled to go in front of the PUC December 16th.
Mhm.
And then usually the coalition meets that week and then they, come up with their rate.
Yeah.
So that, if that all goes well, then the plan could launch in March of 2026.
Right.
So we could, and that's one of the reasons we want to get the contracts done, because there's behind the scenes stuff that the coalition will do once they have those in hand.
Understood.
So,
Okay.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
okay, thank you.
Any other business? Thank you. Motion to go to non-public. So moved. All in favor? Aye. Thanks, everyone, for coming.